So this is the pipeline, right? We have got a couple of jobs and this is the pipeline. But here, if you notice, lot of manual work is also involved. Everything is happening from the UI, like creating the job, connecting them, all of them we have done from the user interface. So when your pipeline becomes complex, when your number of jobs becomes huge, or else when you have custom configurations, creating this pipeline from the UI also becomes challenging. It becomes very much challenging, right? You can't handle the pipeline this way from the UI when you have a lot of complex configurations, custom configurations, or else when your pipeline becomes huge. This doesn't work in reality, right? Creating it from the UI. Of course, we have done almost everything like it. We are also running jobs on remote machine. But let us now make the pipeline creation, designing the pipeline or creating the pipeline also better through the concept called pipeline as a code concept. Right? Pipeline as a code is nothing but you write the pipeline or else you create the pipeline with code. Which code? Yes, this is written in Groovy. It's not exact Groovy. You need not go and learn Groovy separately here. Okay, it is derived from Groovy. Okay, it's not exact Groovy syntax, but it is derived from Groovy. It's very easy and simple language than Java and all, right? You don't need to learn it separately. As you get started working on it, you learn it. That's how you should learn, through practice, through hands-on. That's all. And this Groovy, like this particularly this pipeline as a code has got two syntax, right? One is called scripted pipeline, means the syntax is of two types. It has got two types of syntax, scripted syntax and declarative one, right? So scripted one is a bit difficult to get started with this type of syntax. There are two types of syntax for this pipeline as a code, right? This is a bit difficult to get started, and this is very easy and like very quick in implementation, right? You can implement this quickly. This is the new approach, and majority of us are following this declarative approach because of its implementation, and also it was not strict on the syntax. Syntax is not very strict here as when compared with the scripted syntax, right? We'll be going with a declarative approach. This is the best approach which we are using, right? So the pipelines, whichever we are creating, will be following this declarative syntax. It's very easy to implement. Another advantage of this is it has got predefined structure, right? Whereas here you need to write everything from the scratch. Whereas here in declarative approach, you have the syntax which is predefined, right? So let's see how to do this. Let's create a new job. Until now, we are creating freestyle jobs, creating so many freestyle jobs, chaining them, like connecting them with the post build and build triggers is not an effective way. So let us create now a new job, which is of type pipeline. Okay, this is how this pipeline type of jobs will be used. Pipeline type of job means orchestrates long running activities that can span multiple build agents. Like you may have want to run one job on a particular server, second job on a different server, and so on. This is how it will be helpful. Suitable for build pipelines, formerly known as workflows, right? That do not easily fit in the freestyle job type. So let us choose this. Let's say DevOps pipeline. Okay, choose this pipeline type of job. A single job where you'll put the code which will create the entire pipeline. Unlike earlier, creating multiple freestyle jobs and connecting them from the UI. No, that's not the best way. This you can just run the script and your pipeline should be ready. So let's go for it. And here there were different sections like general section, build triggers, advanced options and all. So for now, I don't need any of the trigger for this, but this is the important part. See here, pipeline script, and it shows you a console where you can write your script. Okay. If you want, you can also see the help. Groovy script defining this pipeline. Use the pipeline syntax link for details. You can also use this syntax helper, right? So let's write some script. So you can try out some sample here. a hello world example or GitHub Maven example. I'm just choosing this hello world. See here, right? Can you all see that? Your code begins with the pipeline block. Pipeline block is the top level directive or else the top level block, like where your code begins. That's a top level block. All the code resides in this pipeline block. It indicates, yes, you are going to trigger a pipeline. See, like I told you, this is a declarative approach. Syntax is very freehand, like it's very user friendly, very easy to learn, easy to understand for a beginner also. Also, it's a predefined structure. This structure format is already there. You don't need to worry about how many curly braces I should keep, or like where I should keep the stage and all. So the structure is predefined. Just understand and utilize it. Like in the beginning, I told you, if you are worrying about code, just don't worry about it, right? You have many ways to do this better. I'll show you all of those ways. Okay. So pipeline block, where your code begins. Then comes agent block. Agent block indicates where your code should run, whether it is on master or on slave. If I put agent any, in my case, you know how we configured our slave, right? In our case, in our project, agent any means to which project, I mean, to which machine it will go. It will execute on which machine. Yes. Agent any means any machine, means whichever machine is available. In our case, okay, let me again show you. In our case, if you see the configurations of our slave, which we created yesterday, nodes and clouds, slave 1 is the one we have created yesterday. And if you see, this is important. Usage, it depends on the usage parameter. Right, that might be again a question, like when you have agent any, where does it execute? It depends on how we configured our remote machines. I have configured in such a way that jobs will run only with the matching label. Means if the job is attached with a label, then only it goes here. So if that is my slave configuration, if I create the pipeline with agent any, where does it go? Yes, anyone?
Preeti, can you repeat that? Sorry for that.
Okay. See here we are having an option like agent any means. Agent means the machine, the node on which your job should run. When I say agent any, where does this job or where does this pipeline execute?
Master, it's
On the
gonna go.
slaves.
Agent
If we
any
have
means-
specified the slave, then it will go on the slave, else it will go on the master.
Exactly. See, it depends on agent any means. It was saying go to any machine whichever is available. But agent any means whichever machine it should go, means it depends on how you configured your slave also, right? Will it go to our slave 1? If I put agent any, where does it go? Agent any means in our case.
Master.
Master only, it will not go to the slave, because see, I have configured my slave in such a way that any job should run only if the label is attached, but I'm not attaching any label. Agent any means it will not go to slave, it will go only to master. But let's suppose tomorrow I'm making this, use this node as much as possible. Then where does this job go if I put agent any? Slaves means it depends. When you write agent any, we should not blindly consider that, okay, agent any means it will go to master only because we are not specifying the slave. No, it also depends. Of course, agent any means it will go to master, but it also depends on your slave configuration. See, I have configured this way, right? In that case, yes, it will go to the slave because I said use this node as much as possible. So if this is online available, job will go. But if I choose this, agent any means it will go only to master, right? Am I clear? Making sense, everyone? Because later you will have confusion, like when I say agent any, why is it going to slave? It might be the case. Okay, so that's a agent block. You define where your job should run. Then comes stages block. Stages means from here on, actually your phases or your jobs, like we created jobs earlier, right? Those stages begin from here. Again, you'll have stage block. Let's say this will first check out. Okay, means this will just first get the GitHub repository, clone it, clone the repo. That's my first step. Or else let's put our actual jobs we have created, compile. Okay, so the first one is compile the code. Actually, I'm not writing the actual stages. Okay, just the dummy stages. Okay, the structure I'm creating, skeleton. Okay, then see, like this, you can create any number of stages. And you put the actual code here. Compile unit test, and then okay. So these are the stages I have. That's all. That's all. This will create a pipeline. See, you have to be careful whenever you open a curly braces, a closing curly braces should be there. So stages, within that you can have any number of stages. Stages indicate a particular phase in your job. And then steps block is where you put the actual code, right? So these are few directives or which will help you create the pipeline. So let us run this and see. Let me save this and build now. Like any other job, build it. It will create the entire pipeline.
Preeti, in the code, does the indentation is must?
Indentation is not must for this. No.
Okay.
See, it's just printing, compile the code, run the test. Means each phase is being executed. Also here, see, only single job, right? Single job which is doing the actual task. It's doing everything here. You don't need to worry about pipeline connecting because stages execute one after the other. So you don't need to configure them separately, right? So this is nothing but pipeline as a core concept. And there are many better things you can do. Like if you just come here, pipeline script, here is my script. Okay, let's suppose I have many other configurations or many other like strategies I want to implement. I have to modify this code. Is it looking good modifying the code in this console? Also, if I write code here and if I keep on modifying the code here, there'll be no history maintained, correct? No history. If I want to revert the previous code, I can't do it. So to make this more efficient, what we'll do is we will put all of this script in the source code management, means in your repository. See, pipeline script from SCM means go to your repository where you have your code. This is the repository where we have all the code. Right here, we can create a file. See, already I had some file. Okay, let me do one thing. Okay, I'm creating a branch. We actually don't do anything on master. Like I told you that we develop branch, release branch. Even you don't directly do changes here. You check out a branch, another branch, feature branch from this develop, make changes there, then raise a PR or merge it to develop branch. That's how you should do. But for now, I'm doing it here, but that's the process. Okay. So you have to create a file called Jenkins file, simply Jenkins file. You can give any name, but this is the standard. Always we give the file name as Jenkins file. We never give a different name, but yeah, you can give any name. But this is the best practice and the standard. No extensions needed. Jenkins file is a simple text file which will have all your pipeline code. So save your changes, right? So I'll put the Jenkins file here rather than on the console. Okay, see here. So now you put your repository URL here. Okay, the repository URL, and then yeah, see here, there will be something called script path is available here. Suppose you want to put it in a different file, then change the file name also here. But generally, like I said, we'll be using Jenkins file only. So just put this Jenkins file here, right? And it's going to be on master branch. But yeah, we are not doing it on master branch. It's develop branch. Change the branch name, right? That's all. So here is my code. So which is efficient, this method or this one? Which one we should use? Pipeline script from SCM using Jenkins file is the best approach, which is used in real time for reasons like you can maintain versions of your code, like you can revert the changes if you need, you can maintain versions of the code, right? And also another reason is everyone in the project, everyone in the team knows what changes are happening to the pipeline. Suppose there's a design in the pipeline, you have made some changes. Everyone in the team knows that, right? So this is always the preferred and the best approach. You place your pipeline code in the GitHub repository in a file called Jenkins file, right? So again, the same happens, same like if you build it, it will clone the repository, then it will compile and unit test. Of course, I did not add the actual lines, but yeah, that's what it does. It's just printing here, right? This is the pipeline as a code concept, but to this pipeline, we can make a lot of changes to this pipeline. This is just a skeleton, right? We can do lot many things with it. Shall we proceed making changes to this pipeline? Good to go? Yeah.
Yes.
So let's proceed and make some modifications to this. So okay, your code is here. Where do you make modifications to this file? Yeah. See, your Jenkins server might be on AWS, or this server may be on-prem or else on Azure, wherever it is. We'll put this Jenkins file in the code repository. And now if I want to make changes from my local, right? I can make changes from my local. I'll clone this repository first, right? Through VS Code editor, I can edit this Jenkins file, which is always the best approach and the preferred approach. Also understand there should be no confusion. Our Jenkins file is not sitting on the Jenkins server. Hope you have noticed it. It will be on your GitHub repository. Okay, you can clone it from your local, make changes, push it back to the repository. And you'll create a job which will be using this Jenkins file and create the pipeline. If you have installed Git Bash on your system, you can also launch your Git Bash here. See, PowerShell is being open. Here you can choose whichever terminal you want. I would choose Git Bash. And also, like I want to clone this. On the desktop, let me get the path. Backslashes should be used here. Right? The Linux approach. Okay. So on the desktop, I want to clone. So git clone the URL, the repository URL. Clonings into this directory. So I can also open the folder from here, open the folder from the Explorer here on the desktop, the system. right? So this is the project. This is how you have to clone and work on your VS Editor. Okay, so by default, we are on master branch, but where is our code? So let's go to that branch, git account dev branch. So this is where we are having a Jenkins file. Yeah, see, Jenkins file will be seen this way. Okay, so see here, see if you make modifications in your VS editor, it will help you with the syntax highlighting, auto completion, and also always this is the preferable one, right? So yeah, we are having few stages with the simple echo commands. Let us look into like what else we can do. See, you can do many things. You can also parameterize your builds. What is meant by parameterizing? Means you can pass some variables or parameters to your script. You can also do it from UI. You may be asking me, can't we do it from UI? You can do it. See here. Yeah, this project is parameterized, means like you want to pass some Boolean value, or else let's say you want to pass some input, some text parameter, right? You can do a choice parameter, credentials, or a file, or a text string parameter, just a text. You can do many things, but like I said, it's a manual effort, right? You have to do from the UI, right? Later on, every time you have to modify here. If you do it from the UI, you will not have version controlling. You don't know what changes were there earlier. Only you will see the current changes. If you want to revert back, all of them is not possible, right? If you do from the UI, there will be no version controlling. There will be not, it will not be possible to revert to the previous changes if something is not working fine, right? So to avoid all this manual work, this is always the best approach. We'll also pass those parameters from this code. You have a separate block to pass the parameters called parameters block. Okay, of course, which parameters? It depends on your pipeline. Maybe you may want to print the environment name. Okay, you have something called string parameter. Okay, this is the syntax. Okay, don't worry about the syntax. Okay, how to get the syntax, I'll show you. So just I'm defining a variable called environment, and it will have some default value. Let's say if no one is passing a value, it will be like a test. Okay, and also you can put some description to it. Description, let's say environment to deploy. Okay, that will display, means that's a description of this variable. Just a simple string variable, right? So this is parameter. Means you during the runtime, it will ask which environment you want to choose, on which environment you want to deploy, right? You can decide it. So just what I'll do is I'll just commit the code. It's not a new change, so commit with add flag, environment parameter added. Okay, some commit message, push to remote, git push origin dev, right? We have already learned git on dummy files, but now we are implementing git. So push this code to remote. I'm developing, I'm making changes in my local machine, pushing it to remote. So changes should be available here now on the dev branch. Refresh it, go to Jenkins file in the dev branch. It should have this parameter added, right? What you can do now, you can set a poll SCM here, correct? Everyone there? Yeah, if you set a poll SCM here, whenever I make any changes to my Jenkins file, my pipeline will trigger, right? Anyway, I'm not doing it because I'm going to continuously make changes for this for some time, right? So I'm just building it for now. Console output. See, the commit it was showing, but we are not printing it or using it anywhere. So it would not show anything. But see, from next time onwards, it was showing build with parameters. If you select it, see here, this is how your parameters will display. ENV, the default is test, but let's say I want to have prod environment. Okay, Now build with this parameter. Of course, it doesn't make any sense because I'm not printing it anywhere. Let me print it somewhere. Say I'm using this variable. I want to utilize it in the later branches somewhere. Okay, let's say here. Okay, here itself I'll put packaging the code in which environment. How do you refer those environment variable? Dollar. Variables will be referred with a dollar params dot env. Right? That's all. So it will print now, package the code in env. Params.env means whatever environment variable we pass. Also, whenever you want to refer the variable here, okay, you should enclose this in double quotes. Right? That's how Groovy works. Groovy a variable interpolation, meaning if you want to refer this as a variable, print this as a variable, enclose everything in the double quotes. So done, changes are done. Now let me also save this. Environment params still modified, let's say one. Okay, let's say like first modification on environment variable, push it. Put a poll SCM there, so automatically your job will trigger. We are also printing it. Earlier it used to print just this, right? Whatever you pass, just packing the code. But now let's say build with parameters. See, you may use this default value. It was showing test because I have passed that as a default value. Let me show you. It's because of this. Okay. But now let's say during runtime, I would like to set something else. Now build with, it will build with this value now. And also you can utilize it. Maybe you want to tag your code or something. See, packaging the code in environment prod coming from this slide. Right? That's how you can use this parameters or variables. Parameters or variables are nothing but the inputs you can pass during the runtime. Means during the runtime, you can change your environments. You want to tag your code with some label. You want to put some deployments onto a particular server name if you want. See, here agent name is there. You can parameterize even this one, right? Or else whatever you want to parameterize the server name, right? Or else the environment name, whatever you can choose here. So that's a string parameter. Or else you can also use something called Boolean parameter. What are Boolean parameters? Boolean means true or false, either true or false. Syntax would be the same. Let's say I would like to choose something called whether to execute the test case or not. Again, the same, like it will have a default value. Let's say default value is true. Some description, the syntax goes the same way. Syntax is decide to run test cases, right? That's a syntax. See, check the syntax. This one and the same syntax, name, default value, and then description, right? So it should create a Boolean value. Default is true. If you want, you can also pass some value. Let me first save it. Let's say Boolean parameter. Push it. Okay, now build it. Build with parameters. For now, you are seeing only this one. In the next build, you could see the rest. Let it finish. Yeah, see here. Boolean parameter will be in the form of a checkbox. Means if you see, because I have selected default is true, it was selected by default. Means it's true. I may unselect it, okay, or else I can select it and run. But again, I'm not using it anywhere in the code. You can choose it. Let's say, let's go here. See, this is a Groovy code, right? You can do everything or anything, whatever you do from the UI. Let's suppose I want to decide that this box, this block should execute depending on this Boolean parameter. Yes, conditions are possible. Okay, you can have above the steps block, right? You can have a when conditional block. When expression, that's a syntax, okay? Then what is what is the expression you want to check? Params means parameters, right? Params dot execute test. See, it almost came up. If this is true only, execute this, run the test cases, right? So that's how you can even use those parameters. Save it, push it, and execute the pipeline. Yeah, let us build it. So I'm going with the default true. Okay, let's go with default. Now, if you see, sorry, console output. See, it's running the test cases because it is true. Condition is true. Let's build again. I'm unselecting this. Okay. Now, this particular stage should be skipped because test case execution is false. See here, unit test stage skipped due to when conditional. Okay, that stage is fixed because it will execute only if that particular parameter is true. Clear, all of you? Understood? All these parameters just now I have shown you. You can also do from here from the UI, but I told you the advantage. I mean, see, already they came up. Whatever I have added from the code, they all came up here, right? That's what I'm saying. You can also add here like choice parameter. But if I add here, I don't have versioning of them, right? So I'll add in the code, they'll come up here. So whatever modifications I do here will be implemented here. Okay. So that's what is parameterized builds. You may be coming across parameterized builds. What are parameterized builds? These are the parameterized builds. So like you are adding choice from the UI, I can also do it from here, right? Whatever you do from the UI can be done from here. Let's say I'll have something called app version. Choice parameter means it will be showing you a drop down. And what are all the choices you have? I may have something like all the choices goes in the square brackets. That's the app version. You may choose which version you want to deploy. .2, 1.3 and so on. That's all, right? So choice parameter you can utilize. You may also use it somewhere. Like let's say compiling some version, compiling so on so app version, right? Let's say params dot app version, right? Like I told you, when you want to refer them as a variables, enclose this in the double quotes, right? Perfect. Now let's commit the code. Choice params added. Next run, we can see them. Yeah, do you see the app version, right? So let's say I would like to select 1.3. Yeah, compiling the code 1.3, right? So that's how choice parameters can be used. You can, means what are these parameters doing? Basically, you can set some parameters during runtime. Actually, you call them as build parameters. Okay. Whatever parameters you have configured from the code can also be seen here. If you want only for this run, I want to modify, you can even modify them, but they'll be applicable only to that particular run as long as you run from the UI, right? So yeah, those are the different things you can do. Let's suppose I also want to do something like I want to have some user input. Means user input means during the runtime, your pipeline should take a decision or else input from you, and it should wait as long as you provide that input. Yes, that is also possible. Okay, pipeline will pause there. This is what is where you will use manual approvals. Like we have seen, right, in the CI/CD pipeline, right, your code can be deployed to production also automatically. That's called continuous deployment actually. There is also something called continuous delivery. Generally, people use these words interchangeably, like continuous delivery and continuous deployment. Okay, but deployment is automation of deployments to production environment also. But for certain environments, we may have to provide approval to deploy it to environments, which is called continuous delivery, right? So in that continuous delivery means it should wait for our approval. Then only your pipeline will run. So let's say this is the deploy stage, or else let me take one more stage. Okay, let's say deploy stage. Okay, see, these are just dummy lines. Just understand that here you will be writing some Docker code and all. Okay, so we will be doing that as well. But now, yeah. So understand the structure and the flow. So yeah, it was deploying to some environment. But now during this deployment, I want it to ask for some input. Okay, so you can have the input parameters defined in this particular block itself, wherever you need an manual input. Okay, and the message input, and then message, like let's say provide approval for prod. Let's say whenever it's going for prod, it will ask for this. Okay, you may have like okay means it should show deploy to prod. Of course, it's a dev branch. It will not go to prod environment, just to show you this importance of this. Then comes the parameters. Which type of parameter? Either it's a just Boolean parameter, right? Either you approve it like true or false. Then you should go with this, right? Boolean parameter. Okay, let's say the parameter will be deploy to prod. Default value will be false. You have to approve it. Decide to deploy on prod environment. Okay, you may have multiple parameters. I'm choosing this Boolean now. Let's commit the code, adding input parameter. Your pipeline will pause there. Okay, let's push the code. Oh, sorry. I think I have added it in the previous block. 1 minute. Okay, it's fine. So here it was just printing it, which is fine. Okay, now I have pushed as well. So let me build it. Build with the defaults. See, it was checking out from the Git repository, compiling, unit testing, and packaging. It failed for something. Any syntax errors you can see here. No message specified for input. Is it so? Let me check. Input block. Input block oh, see, typo. Right? Yeah, right. Now commit and push the changes. Okay, now let us build it. See, this 11th run failed, so you don't see any input. Also here you can see the time taken for each run, and also the logs you can also visualize here, right? Total time taken for each one. Again, 12th build also failed. Let's see. Again, not a valid selection. Provide approval for prod. Some extra configuration is required. 1 minute. Message, provide approval for prod. Then okay. Then parameters block. And this is the input block. Parameters block, input block. What else is missing here? Steps block, script block, stages block, pipeline block. Parameters, message. Okay, yeah, here there is no colon.
Preeti, are such scripts ready-madely available on the internet?
Yes, it's available on the documentation, official documentation. I'll walk you through that too.
Okay, thanks.
Now let's build this. Right, you can also go here. See, it was paused, it was waiting there. You can also check here in the console output. See, input requested. Okay, it means input request, it is waiting for manual user input. You may go here and provide the input, or else from here itself also you can provide the input. These are like you can learn them automatically. Okay, self-learning things. See, provide approval for prod, deploy to prod. That's what we have chosen, right? You can select it, deploy to prod, or if you want, you can abort it. It depends what you want, how you want to proceed. I want to proceed. So it's executed, right? That's how prod approvals will be given for the pipelines. This is called continuous delivery. See, approved by the user. You can also restrict who can have this approval permissions, right? Like using that role-based access strategy, you can define who will have permissions to this, who will not have permissions, who can provide approval. Those also you can control. Got it, everyone? Right? So this is how you can make your pipeline better. You can automate it to any level. It depends on your logic, means your design, how you want your pipeline to work, right? Where you need approvals, where you need to pass parameters. That's completely, you can design and do this. See, don't worry about this syntax. See, by now we have written 48 lines of code. It's very simple. You have the official references. Just go here. Pipeline as a code, right? Refer the official documentation always. First, this should be your preference for any tool, the official documentation. Okay, here you have everything. Like I told you, we were using pipeline syntax. You may go here for, pipeline syntax reference. See, table of contents. It's like a separate topic, but you don't need to learn it as a separate subject. Let's rather learn it when you are creating a pipeline, integrated your learning. Don't learn it as a separate topic or a subject. See, here we have discussed about this agent section, right? Agent any, right? Everything is there here with examples. Stages block we have used. It is explaining what is the stages section will typically follow the directives such as agents, options, etc. After agents and all, you will have this stages block, right? Then what is steps block? Just click this. You have a lot of things. You can copy the syntax always from here. Today we have used some parameters, right? See here, string parameter. Yeah, you can just copy from here and use it. You need not write line by line this way. No one will remember this syntax. Okay, even I can copy. I have copied it from the here only. See parameters, right? Copy Boolean parameter, choice parameter, password also. Suppose you want to pass some password. You can also do this. And also examples, see all the type of parameters, choice parameters, different types, okay, password type. Then how do you print them also available? Do you see that? Whatever we have done today is available here. Example 10, parameters in the declarative pipeline. You can also set the triggers like cron trigger if you want to set. See, triggers block. You have a directives for everything, or blocks, directives or blocks. See, triggers, cron trigger if you want to set. Again, cron syntax explained like it is on UI. See, different types of syntax. You can try all of this. You can do complete hands-on on this, right? So that you'll get a good clarity on it. We did not create the Maven steps. We'll do that. But see, input block also there, message, ID, okay, submitter means so many other things, whichever you can pass. See, this is from where you can copy the input block. So you don't need to memorize this syntax. You don't need to also memorize what are all available here, because see, like I told you, it's a huge content. Okay, no one will know what are all there in this complete content. We will be knowing whatever we have used. Majority of the things, whatever we use in a project, most of the times which are helpful, those things we know. But the thing is, you should know what are all the things available to certain extent. Let's say you are claiming an experience of 5 years, 6 years, then yeah, definitely you might have used all of this: agent, post, stages, steps, environment, options, parameters, triggers, and all, right? If you are a very junior into it, at least you might be knowing few sections here. So it depends on your experience and expertise. It's not mandatory you should know it, but what you should know is, okay, like let's say I have a requirement, I have to something. This is where you can refer. This is how you can search whatever you need. Like let's say I want to run two stages parallelly. Maybe I want to compile, and also I want to do code review at the same time, because code review doesn't depend on compile output. It will review the raw code, right? So I want to execute both of them parallel. So maybe I have never used that one. I'm new, I don't know. But you should know, yes, you can refer here. Is there anything which you can do with parallel? See, parallel. Or else you can search this documentation. If you click this, it tells you stages in declarative may have a parallel section containing a list of nested stages to be run in parallel. So you should be able to read this documentation and implement it. Majority of the times, that's what we do. If any new design, new implementation we have to do, right? So you are not expected to memorize all of this syntax and all. It's very easy using this, but you should know, okay, this is how we can use it. This is the process and all. Am I clear? Any questions in this part? This is the code. Of course, we have to put it to our pipeline with the Maven changes. But is this much clear for you all? Any questions? Okay. Also, okay, now these are the parameters we are passing. Let us try to implement our changes. Like we have to implement some code changes, right? Like let's say I want to compile the code. Before going to that, okay, all right, let's finish this. We'll discuss multi-branch a little later. Right. So now let's suppose I want to package the code. Yeah. So how to do that? MEN package command we need to execute, right? So here what I want is, I just want to run after this. It's a shell command actually, right? How do you do that when you are running in a shell command? MEN compile. That's all. But how do you define your tools? We have some tools defined in the automatic tool installer, correct? How do you define them? So if any line, if you want to refer, you can also use this. Go to your job. Yeah, this is your job. Configure. There is one more pipeline syntax generator option for you. Yeah, see, pipeline syntax. You can also utilize this pipeline syntax. See, this snippet generator, it will generate a snippet for you. You can choose your sample step. My sample step would be, like I want to choose the tool, right? So tools, if you search, say use a tool from a predefined tool installation. Predefined means automatic tool, or else in the global tool section. We have defined in the global tool section some automatic tools and the manual tool installations, right? So if you want to refer them, use a tool. So here so many steps are there. You can choose whatever step you need and which tool you need. Let's say I want to use something like JDK. See, it comes up. Now you can choose which Java if you have multiple installers. I'm choosing a generate the line. See, tool name, okay, and then the JDK, the type and the name. You can choose, you can use this and write the code here. That's how also you can use. Means I want to tell you now there is another block called tools block, right? And also if you don't know how to use the tools block, okay, go here, search for the tools. You should see a directive for it as well. Okay, you can search here. Yeah, see, tools. This is how you can define your Maven tool or Java, whatever. That's what I'm doing here. It says it's JDK and then my Java is the name. Similarly, I want to define Maven, and it is the name also I have given as my Maven, right? In the global tool section. That's all. It will use these tools and it will perform this task of mvn compile. Similarly here, shell command mvn test, right? And then the package job, which will be mvn, shell command mvn package. That's it, right? Let us run this. Before running this, I would like to remove all these parameters. This is for our test purpose, but now I don't want it. I want to just delete all of them. Can I remove all of this? Right? This will be available in your Google Drive. Okay, so I can delete now. We are not using any of them here for now. So just let me make it clear. I don't need any of them now.
Preeti, can we define any installation process in this?
Installation process meaning like which installation?
If we need any file or any package, can we define in the Groovy script? Like
Groovy script will not be used for installations. Okay, if you want to install something here, you will be using shell script only. We were calling it through Groovy. That's all. Like how you do any installation like sh yum install. That's how you can put any shell command.
Okay, just only to define that.
Okay, I'm also removing the deploy state, just making the pipeline our actual pipeline, right? So let me just save this now. Maven pipeline. So I have defined as the pipeline as agent any. So where it will run now? Let me run it. Initially, it may show us this, and those parameters will go away from the next run. See, only build now option because I have cleared all of them. Build with parameters gone because no more parameters we are using there. Let us build it. I have started a build. So see mvn compile. It was executing mvn compile. It will download all the plugins, everything, and it will do. And also, yeah, it was executing. And here you can see a particular workspace for this job created. And everything is happening on which machine? All the jobs were executing on?
Jenkins.
On Jenkins only, on Jenkins master. That's where the jobs have been executing. Now, let's say I want to run it on a remote machine, right? I want to run it on a slave machine. So how do you do that? Here, agent any means, yes, all the jobs are running on agent. But let's say I want to make it more specific, means I want to define the each stage should go onto a different machine. So here you can say agent none. Okay, agent none. And then I would like to compile. Then I would like to do this compile on a remote machine. Or else if it is on the same machine, inside the stage block, you can define again agent any. Okay. But before this, I have one more thing to show you. 1 second. I just reverted my changes. That's how you can define under each stage. But we have one more thing left here, right? It was executing, but after this, I just want to generate test report also, isn't it? So let us also write a line for test report, then we will go for the agent block. First, let's finish the post build action as well. Why was it taking so long? Am I audible? Like, I'm just wondering, am I having network?
Yes, Preeti, you're audible.
Okay. Why was this stuck up here? So meanwhile, let's talk about talk on this. Like, yeah, this is how you can create a pipeline, right? This is very easy with the syntax. Now there were also many other options. You can just refer the official documentation, or else you can also use the refer the chat GPT. Let me also show you. It makes the things very easy, but you should know, like you should actually know the concept and you should have a good understanding. Then only you can use this chat GPT will be helpful. Just as a beginner, or else with a completely newbie with a zero knowledge, it won't help you much. I'll tell you the reason. See, I'll say Jenkins file for Maven stages, compile, unit test, package. Now with this chat GPT, you need not worry or afraid about writing the code and all. See, it will also explain you. Open the Jenkins, create a free. Oh, sorry, I didn't write Jenkins file. 1 second. Stop generating Jenkins file. Wait, it came up, but let me say Jenkins file. It was showing everything, including manual steps, like from the UI as well as it. But I just want this one. See here, whatever code we have written. Do you see that? Also, it was explaining every stage. Isn't it good? Yeah. See, pipeline, agent any, stages, the checkout stage. Checkout means first cloning stage. You don't need to write this actually. It will clone anyway. But yeah, I understood the problem now. It couldn't find the code. That's why it was hanging up there. This kind of corrections you can get. We missed this line. Okay, we'll do that. Compile, right? MVN compile, MVN test, MVN package, SH commands. That's what we were doing, right? Later, if you want to clear the artifacts directory also, you can use the post build. It was explaining all the stages here, right? Now this makes ChatGPT is making your job much more simple, but you need to know what to do, or else how to do, whether this works for your project or not. These things you should know. It got just stuck up. See, here I did not mention the GitHub URL. Do we need to really mention that repository URL? Should we mention it or not?
We already declared in pool SCM, right?
Not in the poll SCM, but yeah, here we have configured which repository it should clone and work. So we don't need this phase actually. That's what I think even ChatGPT has given us. If you just see here, yeah, it was even commenting here. But in case if you have not mentioned there, if you are writing it from the console, then you have to use it. You don't need it. It was commented. Right, to make any modifications to actually, it may be sometimes few mistakes, or else few things which doesn't suit our project also will be there, right? You should be the person who will decide finally. So syntax wise, code wise, you don't need to worry now. Okay, but this got hung. Let me about other bills. And let's wait, it was just stuck up. So, okay, let's say, okay, fine, it has executed, like we already seen the output. So let's not wait for the output, but okay, if after generating it, we also want to generate a test report, right? Then how to do that? That's where comes post build actions. Post build actions means after this build, what you want to do, right? Then you have a section called post section, right? In the same stage, you can go with the post, right? Always. Okay, here you can write the line. See how to write post build actions. Like I told you, first till now, this is how we were referring. We were referring this one, official documentation. You will have post section. See, post Means after build. Do you want to do this always? Then post always. Or else I want to do this only if the above phase, means the particular phase is successful. Then you should choose not always, on success only. Right? You can decide. Or now this is how you can refer. Example was also there. You can just copy it and use it. Or else now you have again an advanced and much more better tool, ChatGPT as well. Here I'll add a post build step. Post build step for the test stage, unit test stage, right? It has given unit test stage only. So unit test stage.
With even this can be called as a downstream activity or project, right?
Post is not called as downstream. The job which is following it is called downstream. Means package job is a downstream to unit test job. Unit test job is a downstream to compile job. Right.
Okay.
Post build means after this job. If you remember yesterday, we have selected from the UI post build actions, JUnit plugin we have added and all, right?
Correct.
So that's what is post. See, it was saying on success, you want to do something, or else on failure also you want to do something. You can have both of them. It was showing. So I will further refine it. Post always should generate JUnit test reports. Okay, let's see what it has to say. Whether that will fit us or not. Yes, exactly. It has given the exact line. This is how you can use. See, it was also explaining you. In example, the JUnit test reports are assumed to be located here. Make sure the updated path in the JUnit step. You have to put the updated path, the actual path, right? Do you remember we have provided the path of the raw XML, right? It was giving exactly what I have to use, right? If any one of you missed that, let me also show you. In the earlier jobs, my Jenkins is stuck up. It was just very slow. Do you remember yesterday we have given there the path of the raw XML files, right? This is the path. Do you remember I told you we have to use only the relative path, target, sure files, multiple XML, so star.xml. Same, and it's a JUnit. So that's all. That will do the job. So ChatGPT will make the task much more easy. Means, see, basically it will increase our productivity. I am not saying here you don't need to learn anything, you rely on Chat. It doesn't work then. You should have the knowledge. Okay, you should know how to do what you want to do exactly, how to do it. Suppose you don't know how to add a post build action also, or else you don't have knowledge on how to add, like you can add a post build action also, then this will not work, right? Also, you have to decide whether this is correct or not. Right? Just blindly, we can't rely on ChatGPT. If you know everything, if you have good knowledge to improve the productivity rather than searching the syntax, fixing the syntax, maybe I forget the syntax here, forget this apostrophe here. If I do this single quotes, if I miss the single quote and if I'm stuck up somewhere with some syntax errors, for such things to improve the productivity, ChatGPT can be used, right? Or else, if you want to know the concept, ChatGPT will be helpful only to certain extent. Okay, you have to refer this official documentation. Earlier, how we used to do without ChatGPT? Suppose this is the actual way. You are calling a plugin here. I want to call a JUnit plugin. Tomorrow, maybe I want to use some other plugin. How do you invoke plugins from your pipeline? I mean, pipeline as a code from your Jenkins file. Here you have steps reference as well. Steps reference. See, the following plugins offer pipeline compatible steps. See, actually, we were calling JUnit plugin of Jenkins to generate a trend report. Correct? Everyone is clear with this point, with this statement?
Yes.
Which plugin or which tool is generating that trend report on Jenkins?
JUnit.
JUnit plugin of Jenkins. There is also JUnit plugin for Maven. That is generating actual report. JUnit plugin of Jenkins will convert them to a trend report. So I want to invoke that plugin from my code. How do I invoke? Right? This is where this is showing it will offer pipeline compatible steps to call a plugin. So here you search for your plugin. Mine is a JUnit plugin. So go here for JUnit plugin. Okay, so archive JUnit formatted test results. What you want here? So you have to choose here and decide. Test build publishers, what you want. I just want this one. Just I want to pass this so that it will generate a report. So if you read it, it makes more sense. This is the actual learning. This is, you should know this subject, this topic. You have to search for plugins this way and all. Then if you use ChatGPT, you can validate it better. Blindly, we can't rely on it, but definitely it will increase your productivity. You can use it for your DevOps tasks to improvise your task, you improvise your pipeline. That way you can use once you know the concepts and once you have the subject, right? So yeah, this will generate a report. But for some reasons, I don't know, this Jenkins got hung here. Let me try restarting it. See, it was taking time and something wrong with the server itself. I can start and stop this. Once it is stopped, I can restart. Once it is stopped successfully, we'll get an option to start. Let it stop. Okay, we'll push both the changes at once. Okay, one is this report generation. Another one is, like I'm talking about, agents. Agent any means every job will go to onto the default machine available. In our case, it's master. But here I will not define anything, but rather will define them in each block. Like let's say I want to run compile also on any machine, whichever is. I don't have specifications. Let's say here also agent any, no specifications. Let's say package, I would like to put it on a particular machine. Then how do you do that? Agent, then label of your machine. If you remember yesterday also, we have attached it with a label. So similarly, label of your machine. That's all. So that compile and test, you will go to the master. Any means master. In our case, it's not everywhere any means master. It depends. So in our case, yes, agent any means master. Here it will go to package, will go to slave, right? So let us also push these changes. Meanwhile, Jenkins comes up. Push this. Okay. Also, our slave machine should be ready, right? So let us also start the slave machine. Keep it running. Let me start both of them. It's not allowing because it's not yet stopped. Let me start the slave. But without master, we don't need the slave. So let's wait. Yeah, they came up. Both of them. Start them. Okay, they were in pending. They should be started. Let me close this. We'll launch Jenkins again. See, public IP will be changing every time. Okay, each time your public IP changes, but private IP doesn't change. So yesterday when we open SSH connection also, we have opened an SSH connection with private IP. So you don't need to do it each time. Only public IP changes. So each time you connect, you have to use that new public IP. See here, it was still initializing in the status check. So let's wait. Okay, it was ready. Status check is done. Okay. Switch to master and start Jenkins. I have already pushed all my changes. Pushed all the changes, including the slave running on a slave, the JUnit reports, everything. So let's run the job. So DevOps one. Okay, it wasn't still stuck up here. I'm just aborting this. Also this one, let me abort it. Click here, forcibly terminate. Okay, aborted. Finally aborted. Yeah. Now let me do a run. See, you don't need a particular checkout stage if you see. It was executing from compile into this particular workspace. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Yes, it was executing all the first two stages on the master only, right? So yeah, here you can see a package started. Let's see where package is happening. Failure, somewhere it went wrong. See, Java home environment variable is not defined correctly. This environment variable is needed to run this job. It's because here in the tool section, I have defined this, right? So it was also using this tool location only for this particular job also, because I have defined here the tool location. What I'll do is I'll just comment this Java part. Okay. And let me run this. Oh, sorry, I didn't commit. Now on the remote machine, it will use whatever Java available. We have Java 11, which should be working. See, running on slave 1 in this particular workspace. Yesterday, we have configured this workspace. Inside this, a directive was created with DevOps, and it was executing the task. Right? So building the var file created, done. Understood now, everyone? This is nothing but pipeline as a code concept with a declarative approach and which is very efficient. Also, by the way, reports. Yeah, we have to see the reports. Go to the console output. Yeah, test result report also generated as we have added post build action like we have done yesterday from the UI. Clear, everyone? Any questions? Interesting, isn't it? Interesting and also advanced concept where you definitely have to put your effort. Yeah, this is your pipeline. I would like to show you few more things which you can do. As you keep on working, you will come to know them. You can also like check them on your end, but just want to show you. See, here is your pipeline. If I want to make any changes, I can go here, make changes, then commit, push. But let's say I want to first test them. You can use this replay. Replay means your pipeline code comes here. You can make modifications. Let's say I would like to change this message just for example. Let's say compiling the new code, something like that. I just changed it. Run. Only for this run, that code is applicable. If it's working fine, then I can add it to my Jenkins file and push the code. Got it? So you can just use replay option to give a quick run and check your changes. Right? So where is it? We have added for the first, yeah, compile the new code. Just only for this run. If I just run from here, it will not be applicable. Only for that particular run, if you want to check some changes, you can do this. If you want to applicable for all the builds, make changes in your Jenkins file and you have to commit that and push on your repository. Right here, it will be just compile the code. Any questions here from anyone? There is one more small thing. Can I go ahead? We have 8 more minutes. We lost few minutes yesterday also. Just one last thing I want to show you. Just wait for a couple of minutes. Okay. See here. We were creating a new item, right? And we were creating this pipeline type of job. In this pipeline type of job, we have created, if you just check here, go to configure, it was working on whatever branch you specify, right? Like let's say I want to run it on dev branch, you specify. Let's say I want to also build the pipeline for master. I can add the branches here. But let's suppose I want to execute something. I want to execute a pipeline on all the branches available in repository. How to do that more efficiently? You can add the branches. This is one way, or else the other way is you can create a multi-branch pipeline. Creates a set of pipeline projects according to detected branches in the source code management system. Okay, like let's say DevOps multi, right? The concept, everything is same, just it will identify all the branches in your repository. And you can decide which one to execute and which not. Go here. And here I would like to put the, add source, get the repository URL, and which branches it has to identify. Discover branches. How it has to identify branches. You can define this strategy here, like discover branches on the repository. It has to discover other references, discover tags, or filter by name, whatever. You can set some pattern. Okay, like See, you can discover what I just want it to discover all the branches. So I'll just say star, right? It can identify all the branches and work on it, right? So I think there should be also mapping not needed when you add filter by name with regular expression. Okay, this should be good rather than other references. All the branches, discover all the branches, right? So now let's save it. See, it will scan your repository. Yeah, it will scan all the branches. In some time, once it scans, you can see everything here. Sorry, not complete. It should scan and list all the branches. It was not showing anything here. Scan multi-branch pipeline log. Okay, let me check the log. Success starting branch indexing. It has not identified anything. Just a second. Maybe the regular expression we have used is filter by name with regular expressions. All the branches. This should identify all the branches. Just let me put star. That's not a valid regular expression. Discover branches. Filter by name with regular expression. Let me choose this. Okay, we should choose the branches as well. So checking the branches, all the branches, whatever branches, as many names. See, I have 14 branches, all of them. Also, it should find Jenkins file because Jenkins file is the one with which it will execute. It should also find the Jenkins file, right? If Jenkins file is not there, it will not run. It will not execute the pipeline on that particular one. Okay, I'm just stopping everything here. Or else see whichever you want. I'm just checking into the develop one, right? It will execute here. I just want to make a few changes for this purpose only. See, let's say I want to run a particular stage depending on a branch. Let's say package should be done on a depending on the branch, or else compile should be working only for a develop branch. Let's say you can even add here a when expression. When expression means you can set a condition depending on the branch. This is even very important. Expression, okay, with the branch name. See, how do you get the branch name? Is there a variable? Can I use this? Yeah, branch name. You have here something called environment variables. Environment variables means inbuilt, let's say built-in variables. For every job, you will have it. If you just, how do you refer those environment variables of Jenkins? If you go to any job, you can see here environment variable section. Or else in much more simple ways, just get the Jenkins URL. Have the Jenkins URL. Hit that on envvars.html. This will give you the huge list of environment variables. Let me stop all those builds. So many builds just making the Jenkins hang up. We have to stop all of that. And this should give you all the list of environment variables built in or predefined, you can say, right? And you give the branch name here. So I want to run this only for dev branch. You can set a condition this way. So it will be this compile job will execute only for this branch. And remember, this variable will be available only for multi-branch type of jobs. For other type of jobs, it will not work. I'm just committing this, pushing the change. It will work only for multi-branch, not for other type of jobs. Now I can run this. See, environment variables. Branch name is an environment variable, means predefined built-in variables. Only for a multi-branch project, see, it was saying this will set the name to branch being built, right? Similarly, there were so many others, you can use them accordingly. So Here, multi-branch, so many branches it was showing, all of them got failed. I don't want all of them. Now, if you take up this, your compile will work only for this branch, right? It will just take some time to load them because there were huge number of branches. You can get started with 2 or 3. So that's about multi-branch pipeline, where it can scan the branches automatically. Any questions from anyone? Clear, everyone understood?
Yeah, Preeti. Just we need a hands-on on that.
Yeah, a lot of hands-on you have to do
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So
Then
do
we'll
the
get
hands-on. Yeah. Then you may have more questions. So we'll take up the questions in the next session as well. So that is all for today, the complete pipeline. Of course, pipeline is done means it's not that Jenkins is completed. We have to keep on enhancing this pipeline. We have to add other stages, deploy and all. So we'll be keep on working on this file. But any further questions you have, you can ask me, or else I can help you understanding. There were some questions in the previous quiz, right? So I can take up all of them. If anyone running out of time, you can feel free to leave the session. Others can stay back. We'll discuss that. Is that fine? Can we proceed now? Available, everyone? So you can let me know which questions, like which quiz you have got the queries. I think it was quiz 3. Yes, any questions from anyone? In any quiz, particularly quiz 3, like you are having some questions, I believe.
Yes, Preeti, there were a few screenshots which I had shared on that group. So if we can just discuss those questions, would be a good help.
Okay, where were those? On which day? I'm checking. Let me go through.
Couple of days back, day before
Yeah.
yesterday, I believe.
Yeah. The first one I think is which build trigger in Jenkins allows you to start a build, right? Which build trigger in Jenkins? This one? Okay, which build trigger in Jenkins allows you to start a build when another project finishes?
So that was
Allows
been
you to
clarified.
start. Okay.
That was been clarified because
Okay.
we had the session yesterday. But after that, there were 2 more screenshots basically.
Just a second, I'm checking them.
Yeah.
Which build trigger in Jenkins allows you to, okay, that's done, sorry. Then which, that is only there. Okay, when a specific job finishes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Which build trigger in Jenkins allows you to start when a specific job finishes? Okay, I think when a specific job finishes. This one, which build trigger in Jenkins allows you to start a build when a specific job is finished? Upstream project, which build trigger? You to start a build when a specific job is finished. It should be the next job, means means the previous job is finished, it should start the next job. So it should be the upstream project. Firstly, there is no trigger like upstream trigger or downstream trigger. Which build trigger means, which build trigger is it? We were using post build action as a build trigger, right? Post build action, or else it should be like start under the build triggers. We have an option. We'll choose it. Allows you to start a build when a specific job finishes. If this particular job is finished, it should start the next job. Means we'll use post build action for it. So actually there was no proper answer for here, means in the given options, there's no proper answer. Also, this question is not a valid. You can ignore this question. I'll also delete it.
Okay.
Because there is no trigger like upstream, downstream and all. You'll have post build action.
Correct.
Hmm.
And also I have
Then-
just commented on the other screenshots.
Yeah,
If
I'm
you check
checking.
the WhatsApp group.
Which build trigger in Jenkins allows a build to be triggered when a specific condition is this one?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Which
Specific
build
condition
trigger
is
in
met.
Jenkins? I'm checking. Okay, which build trigger in Jenkins allows you to start a build when a specific condition is met? Where was that? Okay, which build trigger allows you to build to be triggered when a specific condition is met, such as successful completion of another build or the existence of a file. Okay, poll, SCM, GitHub webhooks, timer, build when a condition is met. This one, right? Build when a condition is met. We can add them in the pipeline as a code. Correct?
Correct.
So it
now
should be
now
built.
that clears, because since we have
Okay.
covered that topic right now.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Okay. Then which of the following? What is S? Okay. Which of the following actions can be performed by user with the overall run scripts permission in Jenkins? In which quiz was this?
Same one. Quiz
Okay.
3.
Overall. Okay. Which of the following actions can be performed by user when the overall run scripts permission in Jenkins? Execute the Groovy scripts on the Jenkins master, modify Jenkins global configuration settings, install and configure, create and manage Jenkins. Overall run scripts permission, execute Groovy scripts on the Jenkins master, create and manage Jenkins. Let's see, here we have got this. We have overall permissions, the first section, the first block. This is very slow. Jenkins is loading very slowly. See, firstly, overall permissions. You have, if this is talking about the overall admin permissions, then the answer would be create and manage run Jenkins jobs. Overall permissions, if you give, you can just at least visualize it, right? But if it is like a separate permission about the scripts, then it would be execute Groovy scripts on the master. I just want to see this option in Jenkins. If you are able to launch your Jenkins, you can try launching your Jenkins and share the screenshot in the matrix base. My Jenkins is not loading to see that option. Okay, what is the next one? How do you enable self-registration in Jenkins? See, self-registration, you have to choose the option. We have to enable users to sign up. Only once that option is selected in the security realms, if they have selected you enable the option called allow users to sign up, then only users can sign up. Sign up means they can create their own account. Only admin user can do that. Others can't do that, right? So the option would be enable the allow users to sign up option in Jenkins global configuration. And what is the purpose of the Jenkins security realm? Purpose of the Jenkins security realm is first option defines a set of roles and permissions available to users. It provides a mechanism for authenticating users during login. It enables integration with external user directories or authentication providers. It specifies access control users for individual Jenkins jobs. Purpose of security realm is to set the roles and permissions to available users. I think this is about mechanism for authenticating users during login. Yeah, this should be the right answer. I'll change it. It's not only for external users. It should authenticate users during login. Correct. Second option is the correct one here.
Okay.
And then anything else? This Jenkins is loading. So one question is left, right? Which is about overall run scripts, right? This one I'll respond once Jenkins launch. I'll reply to it. Okay. I'll also share the screenshot, which option it is about.
Sure, Preeti.
Any other left?
I think we are done.
Yeah, just retake it once again. I'll also go through the quiz and just refine the
Yeah, sure,
questions
Preeti.
again. Yeah, over the weekend. Yeah. All right then. Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye, everyone.
You too, Preeti. Thank you.